How to counter emotional arguments logically. Have you ever found yourself in a heated discussion where emotions run high? It can be tough to navigate when someone appeals to feelings rather than facts. So, how do you counter emotional arguments logically? Let's break it down together. First, it is essential to understand the difference between emotional and logical arguments. Emotional arguments often relying on feelings like fear or anger, while logical arguments are built on evidence and structured reasoning. In the realm of ethics and morality, logical arguments are expected to withstand scrutiny, while emotional appeals might sway opinions but lack solid backing. When you encounter an emotional argument, the first step is to identify the core claim. What is the person really asserting? Separate the emotional content from the factual claim. This helps clarify the discussion and keeps it focused on the main issue. Next, politely request evidence. Ask the person to provide reasoning or facts that support their emotional claim. If their argument is based on a personal story, gently point out that while the story may be moving, it does not necessarily prove the broader point they are making. Clarifying the issue is also vital. Restate the main topic in neutral terms. This helps steer the conversation back to facts and logic rather than letting emotions take over. While doing this, it is important to acknowledge the other person's feelings. You might say something like, "I understand this issue is important to you and your feelings are valid. Let's look at the facts together." This shows respect and keeps the dialogue open. Now, present counterevidence. Offer facts, data, or logical reasoning that address the claim. If possible, use examples or analogies that relate to the emotional concern but are grounded in reality. This helps bridge the gap between emotion and logic. Avoiding fallacies is crucial in this process. Do not attack the person making the argument, which is known as the ad hominem fallacy. Instead, focus on the argument itself. This keeps the discussion fair and constructive. In moral philosophy, especially when discussing moral ontology, logical consistency is key. If someone argues emotionally that an action is wrong simply because it feels wrong, a logical response would be to ask what principles or rules make it wrong beyond personal feelings. This invites a deeper discussion about the foundations of morality. When emotions run high, it can be tempting to respond in kind. However, ethical discourse requires patience and a commitment to truth. By focusing on logic, evidence, and respectful dialogue, you can address emotional arguments without dismissing the human element involved. Remember, countering emotional arguments logically involves separating feelings from facts, requesting evidence, clarifying the issue, acknowledging emotions respectfully, presenting counter-evidence, and avoiding personal attacks. This approach respects both the humanity of the participants and the demands of rational moral discourse.